you doing?
Not as good as you because you're in Hawaii.
You're in Canada, right?
Yeah, I live just outside of Toronto.
Oh,
We're
there's a
having
lot.
fun because the Blue Jays are winning.
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I have here with me Carolyn Wilman, and she's known as the contest queen. She's an author, speaker, and a sweepstakes expert who has helped a lot of people to win lots of prizes, and she has even won lots of prizes herself. So welcome today to this amazing conversation. And I think it's so funny because when we were setting up this interview, she replied to me. I had to pick between Monday and Friday, something like that. And then she's like, okay, we can do Monday because I actually won prizes for Friday.
Yeah, we have tickets to go see a show on Friday that I won.
Yes.
So that's how I live my life. I work around the prize wins. I love winning. A lot of people say, well, show us all the stuff you won. But my best prizes are not things. They're experiences like concerts or trips. And I have pictures, I have videos, but there's there's nothing tangible. And I don't keep tickets. Oh my gosh, I would have so much clutter if I just kept everything.
And how did it all start? Like, where did that come from?
Well,
Where
it started, it's interesting because a lot of people start the sweepstakes hobby the same way when they're in a down part of their life. And some people do it to, get things for free because they don't have the money. I was unemployed and I had worked in the IT industry for years in marketing. And of course, way back when the dot-com bubble burst and our company was just decimated, the company I was working for. And then it took me a long time to find work. So in that gap, I had read an article in Reader's Digest about a couple that entered sweepstakes and contests as a hobby and it enhanced their life. And I thought, oh, what a good idea. I don't have to work. I'll just win stuff. It does not work that way. You can't plan your wins. It just enhances your life. I always say, remember, it's a cheap trip, not a free trip, because you still have to get yourself to the airport. You might want to buy souvenirs or excursions, or you have to tip people. Meals may or may not be included depending on what you win. So I tell people you still need a travel budget. You need a passport, usually, depending on where you live and what you win. So I remind people it's a cheap trip, not a free trip. But if your travel budget's, a couple $1,000, it could now suddenly be $10,000 because you won the rest of it.
Yeah.
For example, a few years ago, we won, just before the lockdowns, we won a trip for 40 Universal Studios, and we had them extend it because they don't care if you stay and spend more money in their parks. So we stayed an extra 2 days, and we ended up with it was a VIP trip. That wasn't in our budget, especially with the kids.
Yeah.
So it was really, really fun and a trip to remember. And we still tell stories.
That's amazing. What was the, not biggest prize, because as I said, it's not like about the thing, but what was the prize that you're like, wow, like this is what I really wanted? Is that something?
It's always trips.
Trips, yeah.
So here's the way I break it down. People say, what's the best thing you won? And I say, well, the most expensive thing I won was we won a trip for 4 to the Winter Olympics. And that was worth probably about $20,000 because we went to 5 events. We had gift cards, we got swag, flights and hotel were crazy expensive. So that's, I guesstimate it to be that. And then my favorite trip was when we got to go to the set of Harry Potter.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was way back in the day. Sometimes they do trips. The pandemic changed a lot. Like the meet and greets are now done. Like you don't find too many meet and greets anymore. Those were always fun. But the experiential prizes are coming back now. It's taken a while, but they're really coming back. And then my favorite prize was meeting Sting. I mean, when am I going to meet Sting in my everyday life? We heard a talk and he greeted everybody, shook their hand, took photos with them. I mean, that's not your everyday. I've met Michael Bublé. But then for things like, I have a 100-inch TV that I won that's in the man cave because it was too big for the house. And then, so he loves it. All the guys come over and watch hockey or baseball or darts or whatever they're doing. And then I won a hot tub instantly, which was really cool. We were lucky. We have a pool, so it sits beside the pool. So our backyard becomes the hangout in the summer because, we got the barbecue and the hot tub and the pool. And, when the weather's good, our backyard's the destination, which is really nice that, prize win has also become like a family gathering spot.
That's cool. Do you keep a track? Like how many total, like have ever won,
Yeah. So I used to keep a really good, so when I first started, I didn't track. And then one year I thought, how much did I actually win? So I started keeping a spreadsheet and I literally tracked everything. So if I played a game and I won a soda pop for $1.50 or whatever, I tracked it. This technically a win is a win is a win, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's $1.50 or it's $10,000, it was tracked. And I was really surprised at some months I thought, oh, I didn't really win anything. And then I'd look back and I'd be like, oh, actually, I won more than I thought. Then I went through a long, sad period of my life. I got a divorce. We had so many shit, and I just stopped tracking. I was miserable. I'm like, I didn't track. I'm still winning, but I didn't care. But I didn't win as much because I really believe, the energy you're putting out is what you attract in. So I've always won stuff, but it was really diminished. And it was interesting because as life went on and I got happier, my prize winnings went up. And
So what is the
so
secret?
this year I started tracking again, and I think I've passed like $8,000 in prizes so far this year. And I've even won a small trip. I even won a small weekend trip. So yeah, it's been a good year.
That's wonderful. And what would you say is the secret sauce for someone who is trying to win, or like they think they are not lucky enough to win?
Oh,
What's the secret?
okay. Well, and I know that you have to think you're lucky and you have to believe you're a winner before you are.
Yes.
Because if you think you can't win, you won't. It's like anything in life, right? If you think you can't do something, that great quote by Henry Ford, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So you have to think, I'm lucky. Now, the way I teach people how to get over that is, let's face it, you're not going to win every sweepstakes. The way the hobby is now, it's not like it was in Helene's day where you were filling in entry blanks and mailing them in. The game has changed. You're going to enter a lot and win some. And every sweeper I know that is serious wins. I just saw in one of my groups on Facebook, somebody started 2 weeks ago and their first prize arrived today. Like it is, she says, I'm hooked. I'm like, yes, you are. Because that's how it works. Sometimes it takes longer, but sometimes you can win instantly. You don't know. That's the fun of it. So I tell people when they're entering, say, oh, is this the one I'm going to win? Because that means you are winning. You just don't know which one, which makes it fun. While you're entering, you're like, ooh, that would be great. Ooh, I'd love that. Oh, that would make a nice night out, or that would look good in my living room, or I could sure use that in the kitchen, or or that gift card would make fun for a shopping spree. And see how the energy's up, and that's what will attract the prizes.
So do you obsess with it, or like, for example, if you really want to win a trip, do you obsess with it every day in a sense of you're visualizing, you're like, or you just like enter the contest and then you just let it go?
So I enter every day. So a good hobbyist, a good sweeper will enter for about an hour every day. Just like you go to the gym. It's consistency over time equals results. Just like if you want to get fit, you go to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, every week. And over time you see results, right? It's the same thing. Consistency over time equals results. So if you're entering every day and you're putting in those entries, it's going to come to you. And so I tell people, if you want a trip, then enter all those giveaways first. So you have to be organized. I teach people how to, create bookmarks and folders. So if you say, my number one thing is to win a car, or a lot of people say, I want to win cash. Those are the ones, divide that into a folder so that all the cash giveaways go into that folder and you enter those first. So that's where you're focusing, and then go enter all the other stuff just because you know what, those tickets would be fun. That shopping spree would be fun. That gift card would be handy. A lot of people use the hobby and they don't buy gifts for Christmas. Like I had 2 Christmases in a row. I didn't buy my daughter anything because one year I won her an Xbox.
I should start doing this now because Christmas is right around the corner.
Well, actually, the best time to start is January, and then you start putting stuff away because it gets harder close to the holidays because more and more people do it. And what happens is crazy. December is the crazy month. I call it sweepstakes season. Every company that you can possibly think of decides that they are going to do the 12 days of giveaways or the 24 days of giveaways, or they call them advent calendar giveaways. And so then you have to enter like every day, and it's really rampant on Instagram. And so you could spend 8 hours during the Christmas season entering. Like it just goes crazy. And it's hard to keep up. I just say, okay, because then you have your family stuff. Now you're Christmas shopping, you're decorating, you're baking cookies, and now your hobby just took off. It's a crazy month.
It is. Where do you guys find all of the sweepstakes for you to participate?
Okay, so now this is where I tell people to use a sweepstakes site. There's actually sites out there, and a lot of them have sweepstakes in the title, like Sweepstakes Fanatic, Sweepstakes Today, Sweepstakes Advantage. We have Sweep Sheet. I win contests in Canada. There's Contest Girl. There's contestcanada.net. Like there's so many sites. I have a list on my website people can check out. And I tell people go poke around. There's different formats. Some are blogs, some are lists, some are, forums. Go find the one you like because that's when you'll win. And then it makes it easy because a lot of them put the short rules, like this is open to these states or all of the US or worldwide. And then it starts here and ends here, 1 entry per person per day. And then here's what the prizes are. So then you know already without even reading the full rules, which is my number one tip, by the way, because if otherwise you could disqualify yourself. So if you read the short rules and think, yeah, I want to enter that, but you need to check something, then go read the full rules. But it makes it easy for you because they aggregate everything into one place.
Has that ever happened to you where you won something and then you got disqualified?
No, here's the thing. If you didn't fill out the form right and the agency drew my name and they checked and I didn't do it right, they would just go to the next person. I would never know that I screwed up.
Oh, I see. I see.
So that's even worse. I don't even know to fix it and sometimes I know right away, like once in a while I'll get super excited. I don't do this as much anymore, but I remember being married and being super excited when I first started, and I'm like, oh my God, this is such a good prize. And I'd go and I'd enter me and then I'd enter him. And then I'd go back and I read the rules and it said 1 entry per household. And I'm like, okay, I just disqualified us.
Yeah. Oh.
I knew right away. I'm like, well, I take my own advice, read the rules first. But I got so excited that, anyway, it's fine.
One thing that I read when I read Helene Hadsell book, the one that you just brought into life. So thank you for doing that for all of us. That she says when she won her house and she told her son or her family members to act surprised. And that really stuck with me because that meant that she really normalized her prize. There was no extra excitement. Is that such a thing where we could have extra excitement or?
Well, I think how it worked with her was if you remember in the story, when she went to the house to see it, she sat down and she had an intuitive knowing that she was winning it. If you know something, you're not super excited about it as much. I mean, you're excited because you won a house and you're planning it, but it's not the same as like a surprise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she had time to digest it. She read the rules. She's like, oh my gosh, my husband had to have seen it. She dragged him back to the house and here's the thing. He didn't even question her because he knew when she said, we're winning the house, you have to see it. We got to follow the rules. He's like, okay. And he just went with her to the house because he knew, yeah, she's not making this stuff up. We're going to have the house.
That's amazing.
And so I think that's the other thing. They had like a collective energy because the more people that put the energy towards that, the bigger it gets.
Yes.
And so then she's telling the kids, well, act surprised, because they're all like, oh yeah, we're getting the house.
We're getting, yeah.
But her friends were all poo-pooing it because she was like, let's go see this house. And they're like, no, it's raining. I've got to do I'm doing my hair today or whatever that her friends are telling her. And but she just kept thinking, I have to go to this house. She just kind of knew, right?
Yes. Did she actually
do that?
She actually won every single contest she entered?
Well, so so that was what the publishing company put on. But technically she won all the prizes she wanted. So there's one story in there where she wanted a fry pan.
Mm-hmm.
And she told her husband, don't buy me one because I'm winning one. Well, of course he didn't listen to her. He bought her a fry pan. It was, you'll notice when something new comes out, a lot of companies will give it away as a prize. Like Instapot, when we had the Instapots come out, everybody had an Instapot to give away. When air fryers started to become popular, everyone was giving away air fryers.
Yeah.
So at that time, the electric fry pan was the thing. It just come out, right?
Yeah.
So every company was giving them away. And, right. So she gets one for Christmas. And sure enough, right after Christmas, she won 3 of them. She's like, all right, well, I have gifts for my friends. When something comes up, I don't have to go buy something. They're all getting fry pans.
How did you, Helene, meet?
So this is where I think her and I had a soul contract.
Yeah.
Because she was highly psychic, but it doesn't really come across in that story. It comes across more in Contact with Other Realms or in Confessions of an 83-Year-Old Sage. But I had a podcast before it was cool. I had a podcast in 2008, like almost 20 years ago. And at that time you had to phone in on a landline to some number. And then I had a dashboard on my computer. People still yell at me. They're like, why didn't you adjust the sound? I'm like, how? There's no microphones. We're phoning in on like it's not the same.
No technology, yeah.
It was 2008. That's why there's no video to it. And even when I went to see her, I had like a little recorder, like a digital recorder that I had won, that I recorded an interview with her and I put it up online. And I'm thinking, oh, if I'd had the technical savvy, like maybe I could have had my digital camera film us, but I don't even know if it had the capacity back then. Like the first Canons that came out, I think we won that too. And so I had this podcast. So I had her on as a guest because she wrote the name and claiming game, and every sweeper wanted to know how she did it. And if anybody listens to that interview, I was a terrible interviewer. So, but remember, it was almost 20 years ago. Like we all grow and learn as we go. So anyway, off air, was super cheeky. And I asked to come visit her and she goes, no. I'm like, all right. 3 days later, she phones me back and she goes, your spirit guides are so loud. You better come.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, that's interesting. And I tend to be loud in real life. Like we're doing this podcast here and I'm in my office. But I tend to like yell or to talk very loudly as if I need to project my voice. Like it'll go through the computer to you. Anyway, because sometimes George will be out in the living room and he's like, who are you yelling at? I'm like, no, I'm on a podcast. He's like, so anyway, I thought, well, of course that makes sense. My spirit guides are loud. I'm loud. So then I went down and I spent 4 days with her. And while I was there, that was 2008. She's like later that year, I think it was the summer I interviewed her in August. And by November, I went and saw her. And she said to me, you need to teach Maneuvers for Witchcraft, which is the subtitle of her book, because no one else is going to teach it. I think she realized at that point, because she passed away 2 years later. I think she realized at that point in her life that her kids and her grandkids, well, she only had one son left. The other two had already passed. Like she had, well, no, Chris hadn't passed at that point. Her daughter had passed years prior. And then 8 months before she passed away, her son, her youngest, passed away. So she had 2 of her children predeceased her, and she had 3 grandkids. And I think she realized that no one was going to publish her work or keep it going. And because I was an author and I also did all the contests, I understood what she did, right? Because I had a book at that point called You Can't Win If You Don't Enter. Since then, I've got a second one and I'm working on a third one. And so she said, you need to teach this. And it's really fascinating because I did. And then my life took a turn. I don't know if you like astrology, but Pluto went into Capricorn and all my personal planets are in Capricorn. So I had a heck of a dark night. And when I finally came out of it, I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, she told me to do this. I better do something with it before Dyke passes away, because then nothing will ever happen. Mm-hmm. So I got a hold of him and he said, yeah, lots of people had contacted him, but she had asked me to do it. So he sold the rights to me out of all the people. So I think, yeah, it's definitely destiny because, even he had offers, but he sold them to me, specifically to me, because she had asked me. So I don't think it was an accident that I'm continuing. And then I had interviewed somebody about human design, and he showed her chart and my chart and in how human design works. And I'm still not 100% familiar with it, but there's like channels, and her channel starts it and then my channel like closes it. It's almost like she starts the thing and then I continue it.
That's beautiful.
It's kind of crazy how, yeah, some of the things we have the same and some of the things we kind of have opposite, because she did this and then I do that. And it makes sense because things that she wanted with her books, she was never able to do. So for example, she wanted audiobooks. Well, she never recorded them. Her kids actually, Dyke said he gave her a little cassette tape thing so she could record her books. I'm thinking, okay, I did it in a full studio, like a proper sound booth with the microphone and the headset and the producer and past the glass, like you see on TV. I went to a studio and did them. So all her books are now on Audible. So that was, she wanted that. I finished it. Right now I'm working on moving all of her books over to Ingram Spark, where bookstores can buy them, because they were just on Amazon before. Mm-hmm. And now that they're available on Ingram Spark, one of her goals was to be in Barnes and Noble. So I've now got them. I'm waiting on the last 2 books to transfer. So then all her books will be there, and then they can be in bookstores. The other thing she wanted is translations. I've done them all in Spanish, and I'm working on French, Italian, and German.
I can help you with Portuguese.
Don't laugh. I might be calling you because I get so many requests for other languages, but I can only go so fast.
I'm gonna try to translate this interview to Portuguese because I have a YouTube channel as well in Portuguese, and a lot of people I think would love to hear your insights and all
Well, I don't speak Portuguese. I only speak English. Isn't that terrible? When I was little, I only spoke French. My mom speaks 8 languages.
Oh
But
wow.
when I was little, I only spoke French, and then I started making, friends and started speaking English, and then
You kind of
I
lose
did
it.
stop speaking French, and that was it. And now I can just say like bonjour, and that's it. Terrible.
But that's amazing. Thank you for like doing all this work with the books, and that's how I found you out is through the audiobooks actually, because I don't really have much time in reading because I have small kids, and so I just go in my car and I put on the audiobooks.
So good. And it'll be updated when I finish my next book, Prizes, Prizes Everywhere. I'll have to go and update some links because I talk about my current book, How to Win Cash Cars, Trips, and More, but I'll want it to be updated. So I'll have to go back to the studio and re-record those sections. And then actually I'm working, this is interestingly enough, Tag Powell was Helene's second publisher, which is how I met him. So I also do not think that was an accident.
Yeah,
And I bought the rights to his books before he passed away. And he told me stories about Helene and stuff. They were friends for like 20 years because he knew Jose Silva too. He was an instructor and he met her through Jose Silva. And I'm working on his audiobook.
that's
So it's,
amazing.
yeah, so it's not just her legacy.
Yeah,
Um, I see myself as kind of a legacy keeper. So I have her books, his wife's books, because she had books. And then I
yeah.
know when the time is right, another author will show up.
Show
Like
up.
I'll just be like a legacy keeper
Yeah,
and a
that's amazing.
teacher. It's
Isn't
yeah,
it
that's what I'm
interesting
here for.
how all of them got connected in the era? Because like Helene was on the Jose Silva, she knew Joseph Murphy as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he met. Okay, what circles are you in when she was doing the lecture circuit at one point? So she knew all the people that were talking because it's not like now you turn on YouTube and you pull up TikTok and like there's
Yeah.
you can see things on Instagram in 1 second. Back then, you went to weekend workshops and you went to lectures, and so she met all the big speakers because that's how they all did it back in the day. They'd go around and they'd give talks. So she knew Norman Vincent Peale. She met Dr. Murphy. She met Paul Twitchell. She like knew all these guys. And one time, well, she hadn't met Murphy first. She met Norman Vincent Peale, and then he told Dr. Joseph Murphy he had to go see her. And I'm like, what circles are you in that Peale is telling Murphy to come see you? Like,
That's
what?
yeah.
But a lot of it circles around Jose Silva.
Did
Because
she?
also a lot of the big speakers, I need to do a video on this. A lot of the big speakers we love all took the Silva method.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, for example, while she was his assistant, Tag Powell, he was a Silva instructor. Is it Goldberg or Goldman? I think it's Goldberg.
Mm,
I hate it when I forget. He was a Silva instructor. The fellow that runs Mind Valley, Vishen Lakhiani, he's a Silva instructor. Wayne
yeah.
Dyer took the Silva method. Jack Canfield took the Silva method. Um, I can picture, why is it not coming to me? But basically, if you go look it up, if you go and look a list, all these famous speakers, I think Tony Robbins took it. They all took the Silva method. And then so this is how it works, right? All the great teachers are standing on the shoulders of the previous generation. Like at the beginning, there was like Wallace Wattles and Florence Scovel Shinn. And then there was
Love it. Yeah.
Neville Goddard, right? In the 30s. And then in the 40s, there was like Norman Vincent Peale. No. Oh my gosh, I can picture him. And then in the 60s, there was like Alan Watts and Dr. Joseph Murphy and Norman Vincent Peale. And then, and then the 80s, there was like the Wayne Dyer and the Deepak Chopras. And then now, like from the 2000s, there was like Dr. Joe Dispenza. Like they're all kind of, and they all take it to the next level. We all take it to the next level.
Yes.
And that's how everything's expanding, right? Because that's what we're doing. We're part of the universe that's expanding and the consciousness is expanding. And I'm part of that expansion because I'm bringing back the old text that's back to basics to help people expand. So I work with one teacher, his name's Robert Ohado. I love him. He wrote a book called Transforming Fate into Destiny. And when he teaches, he's like college level. And he gets irksome. And I said, you got to remember, there's got to be kindergarten teachers, grade 1, grade 2. You're a university professor. somebody that's just starting out with consciousness can't come into your class. Their minds would just explode. Like they just couldn't handle it. You'd fry out their nervous system. I said, someone has to be the kindergarten teacher, right?
Yeah.
So some of this stuff is basic, some's a little more, but that's why she wrote the Name It and Claim It first, because in her book, she said, her guides came to her and said, this isn't the book you're supposed to be writing. And she said, I know. And she kept writing.
She wrote more. She
Yeah, so
like
In Contact with Other Realms, and then she did Confessions of an 83-Year-Old Sage, and then she wrote A Man Called Friday. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm going through all her paperwork and what I found in her files, and I'm working to compile different things that were never printed or publicized and bring those to the public. So I'm working on that.
That's what I was going to ask you, if there was any like extra information that you've looked through that would.
Well, some of it's on my website already. Like I've already published, I think I have like 15 or 16 pages of blogs. Some of it is lost articles. Some of it is lost audio recordings. I haven't found any lost videos. Sorry. But she's also not from the era where everything was filmed, right? Like even when I met her, my phone didn't have, I had a flip phone, and I took like a 30-second video of her when we were in a restaurant. I entered her into the contest because we walked into the restaurant, they had a contest. So I filmed her and submitted it for her. Of course she won.
You won. That's hilarious.
I'm like, of course she won. She messaged me later. Oh, by the way, I won that contest. I'm like, of course you did.
Oh,
I wasn't eligible because I didn't live there, right? Again, you got to read the rules.
yeah. Did she start learning, like winning all of this before or after she took the Silva method?
She won all of it before, but she was already reading stuff. So if you read the Name It and Claim It game, it's 4 parts now, my current edition. So the part 1 is the 1971 edition. And then parts 2 and 3 were what she added when Tag did the book. He did the 2nd edition of the Name It and Claim It game, and they added a whole bunch of stuff. So that's parts 2 and 3. And then I added bonus material, like things that articles she had sent me and things that I added onto the back. So the book is now 4 parts. But if you read part 1, that's how she won the house, because she was already into all the metaphysical teachings. So she said, just like ask, believe, receive. She said, select a goal. Well, that sounds obvious, but so many people get this wrong. I go, what do you want? They go, I don't know. Okay, well, you're not going to get it. Or Jack Canfield, this is my favorite story. Jack Canfield was teaching a class, and some guy said, I want more money. And so he reached in his pocket and tossed him a quarter. I was like, what's that? He goes, more money. He goes, I want more than that. He goes, well, then be specific. You have to be specific. You can't just say more money. You got a quarter. You said, I want to manifest more money. You instantly got more money, right? Yeah. Then you're like, oh, that's not what I really wanted. Be specific. That's where a lot of the teachers talk about journaling and writing and outlining exactly what you want. I want my business to be, over $1 million, which is, 100 and something thousand a month, which is, like back it up. Okay. If I want $100,000 a month, I need to make this many sales, break it down backwards. So you have a tangible goal and you can work towards that, because there's still action. You can't just sit in your living room and wish. I mean, it works for some people, but not for, right?
But how, on the part of believe, how can we believe if we have a lot of resistance? Is there like anything?
Yeah. So the next 2 parts were never entertain doubts, and you can con yourself into anything. So those are the 3 things she used to win her house. And she met Jose Silva after she went into the house. And then she wrote the book later. So I think his stuff helped her hone like what she was writing, but it's all the same. It's all the same thing. So what I'm finding is, and I'm actually doing this right now, the key, so a lot of people say, well, I want a lot of money. But the problem is your current nervous system and your current patterns aren't those of someone making, say, 10 times more than what you're making now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're making $1,000 a week, but you want $10,000 a week. But if a $10,000 a week just showed up, this is why a lot of people, when they win the lottery, lose the money, because their nervous system isn't ready for it, and they'll just subconsciously get rid of it all, right? Because they can't handle it. And it accentuates any, say, shadow archetypes that you have. So if you already like gambling and you win $1 million, the casino is going to be very happy to see you, right? Like,
yeah,
right? Because that addiction could just expand.
And
so the key is to behave. So I've even been doing this. One thing I noticed this year is I have a bad habit of not working on my finances when I should. So I take all my receipts. I'm good. I keep every receipt. I track everything and I throw it in a liquor box. And at the end of the year, I sort all the receipts and I put them away. And I thought, well, I have more receipts this year than I've had in the past. My business is growing. So I thought maybe I should get a hang on this. So I dumped them out into the living room and started sorting. It took me a week.
That's me.
And I thought, this is not good. I need to have a system in place for 2026 because I spent a week that I could have been writing, I could have been teaching, I could have been recording, I could have been doing all these things, but instead I'm looking at receipts doing this, right? If my business was 10x, could I afford a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to go through receipts? No. How does a multimillionaire handle their accounting? Well, if they're still on their own, they get a receipt, they open the file, they put it in. It doesn't take that much longer between just chucking it and opening the folder and putting it in. Then you don't have to worry about it. Right? So I thought, okay, so I need to start getting into the pattern of having my business grow even more so that when it shows up, I'm not fried. So you're prepping the pattern. So a lot of people say, well, how do I act rich? I don't have money to go spend at Prada and I can't go to the Maldives this winter because it's not in my budget. Like, how do I feel rich? It's not about spending the money. It's about having the energetic signature. So getting yourself ready. If you want a relationship, well, clean out your closet, make space for somebody else's clothes in there. Start sleeping on one half the bed instead of starring out in the middle. If you want to have somebody beside you, right? You can't take up the whole bed and you want somebody to come in there. Start parking on one side of the driveway.
Yes.
Right? You want to travel. Is your passport up to date? Do you want to immerse yourself in France for a year? Well, start learning French. Start taking actions towards the goal because you'd be amazed at what shows up.
That is so true. That makes me think that with my business, I need to be more organized because I'm just like you. Like leave all of the seats for like last minute.
Yeah. Scrambling to desk. I have a habit when I've got things, I just throw it on my desk. I'm like, no. Take the extra 2 seconds to put it away. Take the extra 2 seconds to put it away. I've cleaned off half my desk today. That was my job today. I'm like, no. If you look at shows, you watch TV shows and there's the executive, he's all successful, or the entrepreneur, and they show their office. It never looks like a bomb hit it. It always looks like it's pristine. They have their laptop and everything's put away, and there might be a basket with some files, but it's organized, or they have a drawer with some files and things. You see a murder mystery and they come and they're rooting through. It never's a mess. It's always organized.
That is so true. So like when you went to meet with Helene, like she said that your guys were so loud. Were you practicing manifestation for that instance? Were you like actually praying for your guys? Hey, go and bug her. Like this is happening.
No, I had no idea. She said no. And I was like, all right. Like I didn't think she would say yes. So I didn't even focus on it. And actually what's frustrating for me is as we go along our journey, we get smarter. At least that's the theory, right? And we learn more and we have more life experience. And so I met her in 2008. We're almost 20 years out. And how I am now, and with the knowledge I have and actually working with her books and people that knew her and asking questions. And I think, the questions I would ask her now
would have been different.
Would be totally different. And I'm like, man, that sucks that I was, in that space. And I didn't know how to record her like with video, or I didn't have that. And I'm like, well, you can't fix the past. I can't fix it.
No, the work you're doing is amazing. We are all grateful for it.
The only thing I can do is excavate her work and teach it. So for example, I want to take, like I said, after I finally finish my third book, I want to mine her work and put together a book of like lost works. I don't know what I'll call it yet. I said Helene's Musings, and one of my psychic friends says she doesn't like that. I'm like, okay, well, come up with another title. Just that's the working title. Tell her to hold her panties on.
Yes.
I'll fix it.
Have you ever had any dreams with Helene after she passed, or anything?
No, you know what? I am so grounded. Here's what I find interesting. I think one of the reasons she asked me to do it is I'm in a way opposite of her. I'm supposedly psychic. Everyone says like they look at my birth chart and astrology and they're like, "You're psychic," and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not like her. I don't see dead people. I don't hear. But if you give me like a business idea or something, boom, I can already see it. Like I spent 4 days with her granddaughter this
Mm.
past August. So fun. She's my age. We're like soul sisters. Love Melissa. And she, we're in her home and she was saying, she had her laptop in the dining room table. And I'm like, don't you have like an office? You have do you use all these all her bedrooms were bedrooms. And I'm like, why isn't one your office?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I'd really like to turn that, storage area into like, it was kind of an office, but she said, I'd really like to turn that into a storage area. I'm like, well, that's easy. You make that the storage, you do this, you move this here, you take that, you put it there, you get rid of that, you put that there. And she was like, okay. And she started making notes. And I said, you can't already see it done. And she said, no.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, see, that's where I'm intuitive. I can look at it and I can already see it finished. And I'm like, your place is going to be amazing. And then also because the feng shui, she was missing, she had some empty corners. I'm like, oh, we have to do some feng shui fixes here. We started Googling. I'm like, you need to put these. She's like, okay.
Oh.
And then she was sending me pictures. Look, I'm starting to move everything around, just like you said. So, but she's amazing because she's like a master yogini. She does yoga at levels like I just admire, and she does kirtan and she can do all these things. And I was like, wow, those are skills I wish I had. But then I realized, oh, I have skills she doesn't have. And I thought, you know what? We all need to learn that we're part of a massive mosaic and we need all the different pieces.
Yes,
We can't all be the same piece. That doesn't work.
that is so true.
Right? Like we need, so it's okay that I can't do everything. So after I finish my accounting and sorting it into files, I don't do it. I give it to the accountant and they do the bookkeeping and the accountant, and I happily pay them because I don't want to do it. And they are good at that and they're happy to do it.
That is so true.
Right? Like that, everyone has their thing. Some people, a lot of people, they don't know how to write, but then, they do other things. Somebody's a landscaper, somebody's a baker. Then I sell my books, I take my money, I go to the bakery. They're happy, I'm happy, like.
You said it, you don't think you're a psychic, but to write a book, I think you actually have to have a lot of downloads
I
from,
probably do. I
yes.
think I'm not psychic in the way I think psychics are. Does that make
Yes,
sense?
yes,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yes.
It's kind of like you can't see the forest for the trees. I mean, Helene could see in the fourth dimension. I have never seen it in the fourth dimension. So,
See,
so she wrote this book, In Contact with Other Realms, 30 years after the Name It and Claim It game came out.
I
So she
haven't read
wrote,
that.
yeah, and she starts out, spoiler alert, by seeing, she was 6 and she saw her grandfather pass away and she could see his soul leave and go with the other spirits that were in the room, and they all walked off.
Oh, wow.
And she grew up Catholic, and they said the angel, God's going to send an angel to get grandpa. And she's like, where's the angel? Where are all those people? And they're like, shh, don't tell grandma. She's very upset. Like,
Yeah.
don't be talking about these crazy things, like so she learned to stop, and she nearly passed away. Like, that's the other thing. A lot of people think, oh, if I manifest this, like a lot of money or the love of my life or the best job ever, or a new home or whatever it is, they think everything's going to be solved. And yeah, she manifested a lot of cool stuff, but she nearly died twice. She had multiple surgeries. She had 2 kids predecease her, but, on and on, because she's human on a journey and challenges. And, she had things to learn too, just like we all do. So I want people to realize that, yeah, you can manifest those things and they can be fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Winning the lottery would be amazing, right? Winning a house like Helene would be amazing, but you just get new problems.
Yes.
Right? Like, they had to pay taxes on that house, income tax. Well, they were luckily in a financial position they could afford it, but other people might have to sell that house to pay the taxes. Now, they'd still have money left over, but they wouldn't have the house. Or if they moved into the house and they were used to a small house, now they're in a big house, there's more upkeep. They might not be prepared for you to have a new set of problems, right? Like, you have to upkeep, the hydro's bigger, the water bill's probably bigger, the gas bill's probably bigger, right? Property taxes are probably bigger. Now you've got a big property, you might have to get a landscaping company in because you're not mowing all that by yourself. Like, there's new problems. Somebody said, well, I'd like to have those problems. Well, it's okay, but still, it's not smooth.
Yes.
It'll still happen. You know,
I
like,
always say this, like if we are playing a video game, if the video game has no challenges, that would be no fun, right? If we're always winning, 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 that would be no fun. It would be kind of like, okay.
oh, that's what I always say. Like, I use the movies. Like, imagine Indiana Jones going in, he sees the idol, he's got his bag of sand, he goes,
And then
oh, perfect. And he walks off.
no challenge, yeah. That would annoy
Everybody
people.
would be like, boo. They want to see the thing and the darts and the running and the smoke and the explosions. But then when those happen to us, we're like, are you kidding me?
That is so
So it's
true.
like going, Robert Ohotto says it's like going, like, it's like life is a hurdle race. And then you get peeved because someone put hurdles on the hurdle race. Like, hello, who put these here?
Mm.
Yeah, they're supposed to be there.
What is on a personal level, aside from the formulas to win and all of her knowledge, what is on a personal level, what did you learn from Helene? Like just
Well,
from
she actually, it's funny because it took me a long time to figure it out. But if you read her book title, the
yeah.
last word is game. This is a game, and we are supposed to play. We're supposed to play. So many, just like we're talking about the movies and the video games, we're
Mhm.
supposed to play and have fun. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but just play. So if there's something you want to try, play. And guess what? You might be terrible, but most people are terrible at first. When you learn to ride a bike, were you perfect? Could you go on the uh, Tour de France immediately? No, you were wobbling. You probably had training wheels, but you kept at it and you kept at it and you kept at it. And then your dad's probably holding the back. And finally, you could just ride a bike. And it took a while, right? So just try stuff. You think a lot of people don't do things because they're afraid of what other people think. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I was a terrible interviewer at first, and I still have that video up on YouTube with the audio. And I get so many hateful comments. I'm like, yeah, I sucked, but the choice was I either leave it up and you can glean what you can from it, or I
Yeah.
just keep it to myself. What would you prefer?
But I think back then too, with the level, like right now, we're all expanding collectively. So not just your mindset, but like everyone's mind is like more expanded. But for
Yeah,
back in the days, like I don't even think if you changed the questions, a lot of people could like, see beyond that. I think we're all
so
like after COVID, especially, I feel like after 2020, it had like a big shift, right? Do you feel the
I have
same?
no idea what time it is. Like I have to have alarms on everything. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what day is it? I had lost all sense of time the
Yeah.
last like ever since and we're just the same thing was day in and day out as we were at home. I live in Ontario, so we had the longest lockdowns after China. Like we were locked down and down and then open and then closed and then like it was we lost all sense of time. And now I have to think and I have alarms like, for this to join you, I had one 30 minutes before, one 15 minutes before, so I didn't, forget or get distracted. And then
Yes.
she's like, "Where are you? Where is she?"
But I feel like time is going faster. Do you feel the same?
Oh, yes.
I blink and it's like already nighttime. And I was like, what happened?
It's October.
I know. It's
What?
oh,
Like, yeah.
funny.
So that's the other thing. It seems like I want to work on projects, and they're just like it's it's partly time feels sped up, and part of it feels like time has stopped. Like it's a real juxtaposition.
Yes. Oh. So Carolyn, and we are running out of time here, but I wanted to end with this question. Like looking back in your own personal life, if you could share one piece of wisdom that from your personal journey, what would that be? If you could
Oh, 100%. Because I know this. I've thought about this. Always listen to your inner voice. I can't tell you the number of times I've had an intuitive hit or a download or whatever you want to call it. I had a knowing, and I think that makes no sense. And then I go with the logical choice, and my
yeah,
intuition turned out to be right. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Why didn't I listen to it? So now, if I think something, I'm like, wait a minute, even if it's like a flash of a thought, sometimes it's too quick, but most of the time now I just go, oh, I had that thought for a reason. I'll follow it.
all of it.
But listen to your little voice, even if it's illogical, because it will always turn out to be right. If I
Do
had
you,
so many choices would be different in my life if I listened to it.
that is so true. Do you have any tips or do you have any rituals that you do to connect more with the inner voice of yours, or it just comes in?
Um, Actually, I don't talk to my inner voice. Now that you say that, oh, that's interesting. I do the Silva method meditations because I like the, um, the 3 3 3 2 2 2 1 1 1 and the 3 finger technique. And actually, Helene did a story on the glass of water technique, and it's on the blog. That's another Silva method technique, and she got answers that way. I do like it because basically, and a lot of teachers like Joe Dispenza, when he says be nothing, be nowhere, be no how, whatever, that's the Silva method because you're going into alpha to create. So the idea is when you're meditating, you go into alpha where you're in that state and you're connected to the universal consciousness. And then when you come back into beta, which is what we're doing right now, you take action, inspired action. Mm-hmm. So if you had an idea to write a book or call somebody or to go to a coffee shop to work that day and you just happen to meet somebody, shocker, or you take a left to a new store and they just happen to need your expertise because you got talking to the owner, or it could be 1,000 different things. And it's just so interesting. Like I always think when I do interviews like this, I think the people that need to hear this are going to find it.
That's so true. I truly believe this. The people who need to hear the message, they're going to be, the synchronicities.
And there are no coincidences, but you know that.
Yes. But I want to thank you so much for your time and for your pouring your wisdom into all of us and doing this amazing and beautiful work that you are, continuing to spread all of this knowledge so it doesn't get lost. So I want to thank you for being here, and yes.
So, I'm going to put it out into the universe. The next time we talk, it'll be in person because I'll be in Hawaii.
Yes. Okay. Let's manifest that.
Right? That would be fantastic.
Yes. Okay. We're putting here into existence, into a video. And then when you come here, we can recall this video. Have you ever been to Hawaii before?
No. And that's why I just said it, because I'm putting it out into the universe because I would love to come and visit.